wish to stress that any appointee failing to meet this deadline would face severe sanctions, not excluding removal from office.
Photographers.
Abusu ame mo akwa about the Barbie J show so unim say Barbie J show there the nsɛm ɛkɔ so ɔman no mu na ɛde do mo, and then this is the 9th session of the BJ show na nsɛm ɛkɔ so ɛwɔ ɔman Ghana mu no ɛsɛ ɛno anam de bɛso mu no. You know, ever since John Dramani Mahama, the president of this republic, took over as the excellency, you know, as one meso bia benya complain bi afa ne ho. Ampa indeed we can say this man has started well, and then we are praying say he will end well as well. The ABC, but politicians under them, anything is possible. They can start nicely and then end in the other way around. But we believe that John Dramani Mahama can do something better and also prove to Ghanaians say, indeed, the second chance that we gave him, you know, just was starting IBB Papa. You know, today, John Dramani Mahama, the president of the republic, has officially declared his asset. Now, somebody who asks asset, we are talking about properties or anything that belongs to you. Properties or anything that belongs to you. Now, today, Your Excellency John Dramani Mahama, Edene Nioma Najapadi Nina, Edi Akoma the Attorney General, yes, or presenting Nina the Attorney General, a match as a Ohodi the ceremony of declaration. You know. Now, with the men say women and some John Dramani Mahama can any be say Ebusuya or say so we a government appointee. Acha by the 31st of March. I was say what they were asserting now come Attorney General, and yes, I about one. I say it is not only about say yes, saçk were free office, but this time around it is coming with a severe punishment. Ladies and gentlemen, Hanum ABJ show. You John Dramani Mahama and say ba in some was Sandy 2 Jan Abusia as a when in Yasem Catchel.
Richard. He is the director of the legal unit. He is charge of all the asset declarations.
All right.
Madam Virginia Shomei, he is the deputy auditor general for finance and administration. This is Mr. Lawrence Ayagiba, who is the deputy auditor general for performance and special audit. And my name is Nelson Kwamwasi. I'm the auditor general.
All right. Thank you very much. We've also been joined by Dr. Callistus Mahama, Secretary to the President, and Mrs. Joyce Bawa Muktari, Senior Presidential Advisor and Special Aide to His Excellency the President. At this stage, I will call on the Auditor General to receive the completed forms from His Excellency the President. Oh, photographers. Thank you very much, Mr. President and Mr. Auditor General. I now have the singular honor of inviting His Excellency the President to make a few remarks on why this ceremony is taking place. Thank you.
I was just looking at the statute on assets declaration, and under Article 286 of the 1992 Constitution, it names the President, the Vice President, Ministers and Deputy Ministers, Members of Parliament, and judges. And then again under Act 550, Public Office Holders Declaration of Assets, it includes public officers, including those in the civil service, public corporations, and statutory boards. Then it also includes chief executives of all public corporations. It includes district chief executives, and then members of the Council of State. There are many people in public office who do not know that they are covered under this assets declaration regime. And so, Auditor General, there must be a reminder to all these people that they are covered under the assets declaration regime. And so I have presented mine this morning, and let me make a few remarks. Senior government officials present, the Auditor General and staff of your department, we're very happy to have you here this morning at the presidency. Friends of the media, I've just performed a simple but brief, very important act of presenting my completed assets declaration forms to the Auditor General as required by Article 286 of the 1992 Constitution and the Public Office Holders Declaration of Assets and Disqualifications Act 1998, Act 550. Ghana's assets declaration regime and its related activities have often been shrouded in secrecy, and only unless in special circumstances, compliance is often difficult to measure. In times past, I would privately have presented these forms to the Auditor General in fulfillment of my statutory obligation. I've taken this step of presenting these forms publicly as a way of injecting some openness and transparency into the process of assets declaration. I've always maintained that while it is all well and good to punish corruption, a more effective way of addressing the canker is preventing it from occurring in the first place. I honestly believe that if properly curated and enforced, the assets declaration process can become a sustainable tool for tackling corruption. Corruption by nature is insidious and thrives under the cover of darkness. The more light that is shone on it, the more likely that it will be fought successfully. I've also taken this step to send an unmistakable signal to all public office holders, especially those that I have appointed, that I take the declaration of assets very seriously and expect full compliance from them. I've asked the Chief of Staff to send word to all appointees to ensure that they declare their assets by the end of the first quarter of this year, that is by 31st March 2025.
Okay, so that's John Dramani Mahama, the President of the Republic of Ghana. Now, first from there, John Dramani Mahama also said this time around, the Attorney General and also the Chief of Staff, Ora Julius Debra, is one more sending Kaibodi Amu BBR or John Dramani Mahama appointing and has hold any public office. And I said, actually by 31st, and also with matters concerning the asset declaration, it is compulsory. And then everyone needs to be educated on that. And also, so as some John Dramani Mahama did to Jano, Yamfani Namra.
I wish to stress that any appointee failing to meet this deadline would face severe sanctions, not excluding removal from office. Even as we strive to hold past government officials accountable for their stewardship, I deem it even more imperative to enforce anti-corruption among our present public office holders. Charity, they say, begins at home. I'm therefore determined to take the necessary steps to ensure that we fight corruption vigorously so that the precious little resources that have been entrusted to us by the Ghanaian people are used only in their interest. There have been issues raised about the effectiveness of the current assets declaration regime. We must take advantage of the current constitution review process to strengthen the assets declaration regime to make it more relevant to changing times. I believe that we must move to a regime where the assets so declared can be published before and after public office, so that the phenomenon of unexplained and overnight wealth, obviously earned through the proceeds of corruption, can be checked. I trust that a healthy debate can be had over this issue and consensus built on the way forward, so that collectively we can defeat the unwholesome canker of corruption. I thank you for your kind attention. Thank you.
That's John Dramani Mahama, the President of this Republic. Now, this time around, John Mahama has an Enia. Yes. And then with politicians, we know them because they can declare it. The Attorney General said, but we don't know in their head and then afterwards what they are going to do. But we are praying that this time around, all the appointees, such as John Dramani Mahama, and I say anyone holding the public office, according to John Dramani Mahama, if you fail to present or declare your assets within, and I said the deadline 31st of March, if you fail to, or no John Dramani Mahama, so this will imply, say, Sam George, Sammy G, and then other prominent people now within his John Dramani Mahama, the government, Obiabe declaring assets. Ahanum BJ Show. This is the BJ Show with Boatin Josant. Don't forget to subscribe.